Well, I am really excited sharing with you all the crazy things that God did with and through us as we were missionaries in Arequipa, Peru. And today I thought I'd tell you about our son David, who's still a missionary there. David, from the time he was little, was the craziest kid you've ever seen. He loved running and jumping. And I think when we got to Peru, within the first week or two, of the first week, we were in a missionary house. So mission agencies often buy houses, and that way when they go to the capital city, their people have a place to stay, and you pay rent to be there. And so we were there, and David broke, I think it was his collarbone. That was the first of like 9 bones or 12 bones, I don't remember, that he would break over the next few years. He would constantly seem to be breaking bones. I can't remember one time he broke his arm, and I'm in the city of Arequipa, and I don't yet know a doctor who will fix many bones for my family, who will become a personal friend. But there are pictures of me outside with water in a bucket and David's cast, and me with a hacksaw cutting off his cast. And anybody looking at that would think that's crazy. But I didn't want to have to go to the doctor, make an appointment, sit around for hours waiting on your turn to get in when you could fix it yourself. I spent the majority of my life we raised David. We would watch him do the craziest things. Sometimes I literally wanted to kill the little brat. One time we were downtown. He climbed up on this real high statue, and he was standing on the top of it. And it wasn't a statue; it was more like the Washington Monument, but nowhere near that tall. Just maybe 12 feet tall. It's just kind of a monument there, and he was standing on top of it. And he said, "Dad, watch! I'm going to do a flip off of this and land on my feet." I said, "Please don't do that. Just climb down." No. So he said, "I'm jumping." So I just turned my back and walked away. I said, "If you're going to break something, I'm not watching. I'll come back and pick up the pieces. I'll take you to the hospital." Over the years, we became very good friends with the Benavente family. They were our next door neighbors that later on, as we moved from house to house, they became our neighbors, and he became our bone doctor. As we say in Spanish, our huesero. And he was always fixing David's bones. He actually fixed Chris's bones. David broke both bones in his arm. One time, so Betty and I were out on a date. We just took some time to go and be alone so that we could spend time together because of the ministry is really busy. And we get a phone call in the middle of it. And I told David he could ride his rollerblades, but he couldn't do anything stupid. And he had broken his arm to where it was like doubled over. Both bones were broken. And so I arrived on the scene, and we scared to death. We took him to Dr. Benavente, and Dr. Benavente put him back together and had to put screws and plates. And David wanted to watch the whole surgery because that was David. And I said, "David, were you doing something stupid, son? Were you doing some kind of flips and tricks and jumps?" He said, "Oh, no, Dad, you know I wouldn't do that. You told me I shouldn't do that." "Okay, son, I got you, son. I understand." And so here's what happened. A lady came in and she to see us, and she brought David's skates. And she said, "We don't know what happened. He is so good. He could be up on the top level of all the stairs, and he'd go flying down through and fly through the air and land on his skates, and he never falls, and he never breaks anything. He turns flips. He slides down rails. He does it all. But this time, we don't know what happened. Something must have got in front of his skates, and he got hurt. So be sure your sin will find you out." And David's sin found him out, and we found out that he was still showing off on his skates. Now, you say, what in the world is the point of that story? Where does that fit in? I want you to know you can get good medical care on the mission field. Sometimes people will say stuff to me like, "I don't know if I can have my baby born here." And I'm like, "How do you think 30 million people got here? They all had to be born somewhere." And so when a bone gets broken, unless something is really tragically bad, you can get help on the field. And Dr. Beneventi was an excellent surgeon. He's retired now, good friend. We spent years knowing each other. Great doctor, great friend, great help, always there when my family needed him. I just want you to know that's available for you. You don't have to give up. You don't have to quit. You don't have to believe it's not possible. God wants to do great things in and through your life.